So, we continuing our discussion, knowing the unknowable. Unknowable is something that just needs to be known. It's always there. It's not something to be achieved, worked at it as a goal, nothing like that. There is no journey involved. It is always there. We just have to discover it. So, the process of knowing the unknowable is different than the process of knowing the known or the unknown. And that's where most of the people make a mistake. Every time you tell people, oh, I do yoga, I do meditation. Oh, I want to do it too. I want to have peace. So they automatically they think that I don't have peace. I want to have peace, and that's why I want to do meditation. That meditation is gonna fail. The intellectual curiosity as far as what you are, how you are, what's going on within me, as just as an observer, will bring you the results. That intense curiosity about life, all that has to be there. Literally a scientific approach has to be there. There is no difference between meditation and science. Science is the science of discovery of the matter, and the meditation is discovery of the self. Simple as that. The difference may not be that much. The scientific minds are the one which are really leading the forefront of this world. And Buddhas and Mahavirs and Krishnas and Jesus were all scientists. They went within and they explored the field of spirituality, and they reached to the zone of unknowable. So we have to equate the similar zeal, enthusiasm. That's why we said, Mahavir Swami says, pratikraman, attack within. It's not an actual physical act, it's a bhav. How would you attack an enemy? With the zeal. He used to be Kshatriya, like we know. So Kshatriyas will attack the enemies and regain the territory or whatever it takes. So that kind of zeal, you have to have it. Most of the times we see the zeal is lacking. There is so apathy to the spirituality. Why do I have to do this? We are so okay with whatever is going on in life. So what is the need for it? And that's where the problem comes in. You always do whatever you inside you want for it. So right now, our interest in the materialism has not dried up. In fact, is getting more and more deeper, and that's what is taking us away. So we do not end up realizing what the material life is taking things away from us. If a shoemaker is looking at you, he's not really looking at you, he's looking at your shoes. The condition of your shoes will tell him what you are, how you are taking care of your whole life, because shoes are everyday item, right? If the shoes are nicely polished and all that, so your pocket is good. So he's gonna be doing good business with you. So, or vice versa, if you're not taking care of your shoes, he knows that, okay, go on, we'll find another customer, things like that. So everyone is gonna be doing what is deep inside, basically. If somebody is a sensuous person, for him, if he walks on the streets, all he will find is women. The men just are bypassed completely. His eyes are always on the women continuously. That's where his state of mind is. So our state of mind is fixed on the material objects, and we still think there is a pleasure to be had, and again, there is something is going to be future. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But we're going to reach somewhere. And that fallacy is ultimately to take us to nowhere. And ultimately, at the end of your life, you have to give up everything. So knowing the unknowable requires that you take the journey within. And that's where the problem comes in. Whenever we feel that we are miserable, then we ultimately take the help of religion. Say, okay, maybe religions will teach me something that will take me somewhere to the God. Again, same thing. I am not there. I want to be there. So I want to take the help of the religions. So religions have created, as we already have discussed in so many lectures, and we may do a little extra this lecture also, but to make a point that religions have created this sense of righteousness, that this is right and this is wrong. And that has divided the mind so much, then all of a sudden people are filled with ideas that there are good people and there are bad people. There is honesty, there is dishonesty, there is truth, there is lies. All these divisions of the minds have created compartments. And that is the job of the mind, is to create compartment. That's where the ego thrives. Ego wants compartments. It likes to choose because that's where the action comes in. Action is motivated by the mind. And the mind, if it is divided, then it gets the food for doing something. For not doing anything, mind says, what do I do then? Mind doesn't like to disappear. Mind wants to do things. But then to do things, you have to pick and choose. That, okay, I want to go to this route or that route. And those divisions are created by the religions, by saying that, oh, this is good, this is not good. All those righteousness, all these things are filled in our head, and not realizing that even the people who are giving the sermons, they themselves have not reached to the point of absolute the peace in their own hearts. And they're telling you that do this and do that. But fixing the outside actions has no value. Actions are so much louder than your thoughts. And thoughts are so much louder than your bhav. Bhav is a very subtle feeling which starts the thoughts. Bhav, vichar, and kriya. So bhav is something, if you have love for someone, automatically your thoughts will be loveful and your actions, of course, will be loveful also. But instead of fixing the bhav, which is going within and fixing with the meditation and observing your own play of your inner psyche, we are told, do this, don't do this, don't do that. And all that process has created so much of a mess in the society. There is a story of a prince. All the time he grew up, he was hearing the story of presence of a town somewhere down at the end of his kingdom, where he was told that everybody is very religious. And he says, how can everyone in the town be religious? I mean, in my rest of the kingdom that I know, I don't see people, some people are bad, some people are good. But I said, no, everybody's good over there. And he always wanted to see what kind of town is that going to be. So once he was put onto the throne, he became a king. He says, first thing I want to do is go and visit that town so I can make my whole kingdom as a model kingdom based on that model town. As he was going to the town, he noticed that people who were going in and out and all that, there was something peculiar. Some of them did not have eyes, some did not have arms, some did not have legs. He says, what's going on? And then he got his answer. He was looking at there were signs written everywhere that religions tells you that if your eye wants to see any kind of bad sight, you get rid of your eyes. If your arm does anything wrong, get rid of your arms. All those kind of extreme sentences were written. And these are the sentences picked up from the scriptures.
Right.
And the Bibles and our scriptures, the Hindu scriptures and most. All those things tell you to mutilate yourself so that you can punish yourself for having bad thoughts.
Right.
That's like holding the bull by the horns, but not by the tail. So that's what religions have done. They have told you to do this, and they make you believe that you don't have this. You are a bad person to begin with. That's why you have to be a good person. So all of a sudden, people have a negative feelings about themselves. And then a negative feeling person has to do something good in the eyes of the priests. So then he says, okay, do this, this, and this, and you'll go to heaven. If you don't do this, this, and this, you'll go to hell. So obviously the guy's perfect model for business is set up. That you don't have this, you need this, so you go and buy this. Typical consumerism. So that's what it is. The religious factions, all the religions have divided humans into good, bad, ugly, in between, and things like that. Any religion they have not accepted everybody as they are. And when the religion expands in totality to include everyone, then only a true religion can start. But religion has always divided people. They have created, and on top of that, they have created rights and rituals and what kind of clothes you should wear, what kind of books you should read. All these things have kind of walled off their own factions of people. Judaism says, I have X million of people. Christianity says 1/3 of the world is our. All those walls are created. As soon as you want to be identified as a Christian, you have to go to the church, you have to do this, you have to do the mala, and you have to wear certain clothes, and you have to carry the cross. All these identifications were added so that you can be identified as a Christian. And same thing for Hinduism or Muslim. So, a true religion has not been really born yet. A true religion based on no external identification. If a religion is supposed to be dealing with spirituality, why are we dealing with matter in the first place? To define. We are defining each other based on the material appearances, but never talk about the spirituality. Even though you talk about spirituality, but you always bring it to the point that talk about materializing. Oh, but you have to do this, you have to do this. Religions per se, they hate each other. They are enemies of each other. And yet, there is one thing in common, faith. Have faith. Everyone says that have faith in God, because that is like a money-making proposition, that with faith, then you're going to be turning towards us. Then you need us. Once you have faith, then you need us to take us somewhere. So the faith has been decimated. The actual religion that should spring up from inside, the spirituality, has not happened. And that is the problem with all these religions have created. So it's like literally like they have given the measuring rods that, okay, if you cannot follow such and such and such and rituals, you cannot be a Christian. You have to be baptized. If you're not wearing a janoi, you cannot be a Brahmin. So all these measuring rods have been given out. And without that, people are not accepted. So literally they try to cut off, and everybody does not fit in everything. If I want to be a Christian or a Muslim or a Jain, if my philosophies, my inside beliefs do not coincide with, and yet I don't have a choice. So I have to give up my certain beliefs and accept their beliefs. So I'm accepting the belief from outside. But beliefs are beliefs. They can be questioned anytime. They can change anytime. But I'm not allowed because I have accepted I am a Jain or I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim. So I cannot change. I have to do this. I have to do this. I cannot eat because I am Jain. I cannot. All those rules and regulations have restricted myself. And the true individuality that should spring up from within has not happened. So there was a story of a demon who was living outside the town, and he had built a big, almost king-like palace outside. And he had a beautiful bed, all decorated with jewels and gold and everything. And anybody passing by was looking at his bed. He says, beautiful bed, can I lie down on it? He says, you can, and it's all yours, except the thing is that if you're too tall, then I have to cut your legs off. If you're too short, I have to stretch you to fit in. You have to fit into that bed exactly. Then only you can lie down on that bed. And that's what we're doing. We are prescribing, we have hardly like 200, 300 religions in the world. Each religion has a special prescriptions. You have to follow this and this, then you can be this. Exactly. But it does not happen. There are billions of people. How can everyone is going to fit into 300 religions? There has to be one religion for each individual person, their own personal religion. You have to find your own religion. Then only true freedom can take place. Until then, we are bound by all these walls created by the different religions. So, the true religion is really supposed to make you free, so you can have your own path. You're supposed to be, the inner spirituality is dealing with the energy of consciousness. The energy of consciousness is always changing. Consciousness has never created the same person again. Even if you get reborn, you're not going to be the same as you were in the last life. Every single second you keep changing. Every single hour you're changing. Every single life you're changing. Every new baby is born is different than the previous baby. Every time there is a continuous change. So consciousness is vibrant. It's always free, always open, and continuously changing. Even the twins, identical twins, do not have the same fingerprints. Even fingerprints at the fingerprint level, Nature says, here everything falls apart. I gave you the two identical set of brothers or sisters, but the fingerprint's gonna be different. So much diversity, so much